Bonjour. Hi. My name is Martijn Winkler. I'm the writer and director of the web series Swipe, which is selected to my honor at the Montreal Digital Webfest. I'm coming to you from Amsterdam, Netherlands, where I live and work. I'm happy to answer some questions. To state the obvious, I think what makes our series the most unique is simply its visuals, its vantage point. We tell all the stories in each episode through the phone of one of our main characters. Not that we're in the phone, but we're looking on the phone, just like you have when you look on your own phone, the gaze you have when you look at the phone. You see the phone, you see your thumb, you see your interactions, and you see the world around the phone. A bit vague, a bit blurred sounds also, because all your time and effort and focus goes into that phone, which is a very unique visual concept, very restricting in the sense of what kind of stories you can tell. Oftentimes you can't even see the main character. I haven't seen that before in any other series or film for that matter. And it really puts central the role of smartphones and devices in our lives. What's also unique about the process, how we did that, is that there's no special effects, no visual effects involved, no graphics, animations. Everything you see, we did live, actual real time. So they're real phones with real apps, with real push messages and text messages and notifications coming up. So we actually had 26 iPhones behind the scenes with a team of social media coordinators sending the right messages at the right time, which was completely insane to do. It was like a military operation planning that out. But it really works when it works, because it gives you a sense of tactileness. It's real. Main characters sometimes mistype, just like you and I do in daily life, or the phone doesn't really do what you want. You swipe to the left by chance. So there's all these interactions which are really live, which you cannot create when you do it in visual effects, because then you create something perfect. It's clean and everything works fast. And that's not how real life is. That's not how we interact with our phones. So that live aspect was very important to me. And I think that's also, that's what makes it really unique. When I look at how smartphones are used in series or films, it's often by visual effects and graphics. And there's also always that distance between the phone and the characters. While in real life, the phone is always so close. It's always touching our body. I mean, it's always with us. It's something real and intimate. And I really wanted to convey that sense in the series. I wanted to tell stories about the roles devices, smartphones play in our lives. And that really has to do with the relationship I have with my phone. I love what I can do with it, but I hate the person that I become when I use it. So there's this love-hate relationship. I couldn't imagine living without it, but there's also such a detriment and waste of time and addictive, and I'm really struggling with that. And I noticed a lot of people around me are similarly, and I thought, well, that's the basis for drama, isn't it? Conflict, morals. So I wanted to see how can I tell stories that dive into this, and not tell stories necessarily that are about phones are bad for you or phones are great, or just stories about important life aspects, about love, about relationships, about morals, acceptance, all these things which are important to us as humans since prehistoric times, and then see what the phone does in the mix. If we add the phone and look at it through the lens of the phone, on the phone, how does that work? Is it a catalyst? Is it something that obstructs it? Does it make it easier? Does it make it more difficult? And so every episode is a completely different story with different characters, but most importantly, a different theme. So every episode dives into one theme and investigates how much phones have influenced these basic human traits. I mentioned a bit about that. It's if I wanted to tell stories about the phone, I really wanted to tell stories about the phone visually as well. I really wanted no escape. So I thought, well, this gaze we have on the phone, which completely blocks out everything else, let's just put that front and center. That's the story, which is really hard. I really came into conflict with myself when writing it. How do you tell stories when you only see the phone? It's really difficult. And shooting it with the whole live aspect about it, which was really quite difficult. But I thought it was really important to put the phone front and center, both in the storylines, but also in the way we structured it, in the format. And that really allows us to really see how strong that role of the phone is. And it's quite confrontational, because you really see how what an effect the phone has on these characters, on their lives. And if you look at it, maybe you think about what kind of effect it does have on your own life. And you think about how strong the pull is of this device. And in the end, I'd like the audience to reflect. We've had discussions about this when I've shown the series to people, and we've talked about this and about where is the safety net for the phone. I mean, it seems like these devices are controlling us, and the corporations behind these devices and the apps on them, they're controlling us. But I mean, there are devices, we own them, we buy them. We should be able to take control. And I often make an analogy to cars. When cars were invented, changed the world. Brilliant machines. But at a certain point, as an audience, as a society, we decided we want to be safe in these cars, and we want to install seatbelts. And the car industry didn't come with that. That came from society. So now we have seatbelts in cars because we, as a society, thought we want to be safe. We want to add this safety device to cars to protect us. So my question then is, where are the safety belts for our phones? And perhaps our series helps start that discussion a bit. It has around the world on several instances, and I really would like to see our society looking at these devices and taking back the control, because I don't want to lose them. I love these smartphones and what we can do with it. They really bring us to the next level as a humanity, but on our terms. Several things. I think it's a webfest is a brilliant place to be able to show my work, to show what I've made to completely different cultures, people around the world, which is amazing. And I'm often really quite astounded how much it resonates. I mean, something that we made here in Dutch, in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, which I felt was, I always felt it was a universal story, but it's also a very local story. But then somehow around the world, people understand it and respond to it, even with all the subtitles. So that's really, for me, that's empowering. That's the reason I make films. I want people to see it, as many as they can, and I want to be able to talk to people about it afterwards. And festivals, web festivals, really make that happen. I've had the most inspiring conversations with people after screenings, and subsequently I've seen other people's work as well. There's so much being made around the world. A webfest is like a curator. It highlights interesting stuff, interesting people, and for me, it's a place of inspiration more than anything. So, is it important to participate in webfests? According to me, are they useful? So, yes, participating in webfests really brings a lot. It brings inspiration, as I said, for my own work. Seeing other people's work. It's about meeting people in the audience, other creators. I've made great friends around the world, brilliant creative people. So I pride myself that I've got this network of great creators and people around the world. And it feels that you're part of a community. I think that community aspect is really important, and a webfest plays a central role in that. Because when you make something, it is it's lonely in a sense, because you have your own idea, you do it with your own crew and your cast, and it's you have your local band of people you work with, but to know that there are other people out there struggling with the same, financial problems, creative problems, creating great stuff, kindred spirits. That is, it's heartwarming, and it really gives a boost to morale. Being part of a community and feeling that you're part of something around the world which aims at the same thing, telling stories that are worthwhile in new ways, in new forms, reaching new kind of audiences online. So thank you, Montreal Digital Web Fest. Really, it's a boost for me to know that Swipe has been selected at the festival. I hope many people see it, even though there's a lot of subtitles and Dutch text and everything going on. I hope you get the gist of it. And please let me know what you think of it. If you have any questions or remarks, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to be in touch with you guys. Thank you so much, and have a great festival.